A new study of 5,000 teenagers shows the shocking pressure felt by teens to share naked images of themselves. A third of girls who took part said they were first asked to send someone a naked picture when they were just 13 or younger, while a quarter of boys said that they did it before turning 14. Kelle, do any of those stats surprise you? You know, your kids are a bit older than mine.
No, not really at all. Yeah, I've had a friend of mine who's got into, you know, some quite difficult areas with their young child, and it, you know, it starts very, very early. I mean, we had an incident recently with our youngest, and I need to be clear that I'd done all of the tests. I'd done I did an online course so that I could understand cyber safety. You know, I'd had all of the gadgets done in a way that I felt was safe, and then we got a new device into the house just because we did. And then she started looking on YouTube, and she put in a couple of words that would seem quite harmless, but the algorithm just took her down this road. And when we looked in the history, we were like, you know, have you really been looking at this? And I guess the difficulty is that I think as parents, sometimes we say, not my child would never do that. You know, I can't see Freddie doing this, I can't see Amber doing this.
What were the words, though, that she put in?
She literally just put in inappropriate bikinis. Don't ask me why she put inappropriate bikinis, but she did. And then she ended up going down this path. And I guess for me, the concern was that something so simple and so innocent could actually take her down quite a dangerous road and quite a dangerous path, and things that she was exposed to that she shouldn't be at age of 8. Now, I take responsibility for that because that particular device wasn't monitored. That device wasn't set up to protect her. So I have to take ownership of that. You know, her normal device, you know, the one that she uses is completely childproof. It's only got kids' YouTube on it. It's got, you know, it's timed out with internet access. But I guess I would say to other parents that, you know, you just don't know what your child is looking at. And, you know, doing a simple thing like checking the history, what they've been looking at recently, and then you can see what they've been searching, what sites they've been on, and what they've been looking at, because that is what's going to influence your child. And even if you think it's something harmless, you know, dancing or whatever, are they dancing provocatively? Are they scantily dressed? You know, is it lewd? Is the behaviour or the conduct in any way provocative? And I wouldn't want my child influenced in that way, not before her time.
And do you talk to your boys about it?
I don't yet, but I definitely will, because I think, you know, we hear a lot of the girls who have sent pictures and whatever, but I think, you know, it's just as much to do with the boys. You know, I've got a job to teach my boys, one, not to be the kind of guy that asks for those pictures in the first place, and if they don't want to, not to feel the pressure, because I think with boys comes the pressure to be like, oh, show me what, you know, that kind of thing, to ask for those sorts of things and to have the respect that, you know, not to do it. But I struggle with my kids with things like, my boys watch YouTube, they love watching other YouTubers play computer games and things like that, and they can't get that on kids' YouTube and things like that. And we all know, once you click on a video, it leads to another and another and another. So it is something that I try to stay aware of, and every so often I will kind of catch them watching something and think, oh, I don't know if that's appropriate, or hear a word, and I think, oh, you shouldn't really be watching that. But it's really hard. I think, like you say, we do have that kind of thing where you think, my kid's not going to do it. And we all know growing up, there were things that you knew categorically weren't necessarily right, and you may not have been directly involved, but you were there and you didn't do anything or say anything to change that situation.
But also, it can happen accidentally.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. That's the thing that's more scary, is that they can do it by accident. They can put something in and not mean it, and then it can be taken down at a road that you really wouldn't like them to.
So you can teach them whatever you want, and you can protect them as much as you want.
Do you talk to your grandkids about it?
Lauren talks to them about it, but I've done things myself, like, because I was looking for a dress to go to a do that I was going to, so I just put big women dresses on there, and all of a sudden all these like rude pictures of these big women came up, and that was me innocently looking for a dress and that. But Lauren has the conversation with the girls, especially Leyla, because she's 10 now, so she's obviously spoken to her about it. But there was someone in Islington, where I live, whose daughter put up a picture, because the boy said he'd go out with her if she sent him a picture of herself, and then it went all around our area and everything. So you have to be so careful. You really, really do.
You totally do. And what's really interesting for me, sort of talking to friends who've got older kids, so on the cusp of a teenager, for example, or teenagers, say 12, 13. And they said that one of the vehicles they use, which is really effective, is watching Love Island. And they watch Love Island together as a family. Because there are certain scenarios and situations that come up in Love Island. Gaslighting, for example, blaming someone for their own wrong behaviour, for example. You know, there are stories that happen within Love Island that if you're sitting and watching as a family, what they do is they then watch it and then they talk them through why something is wrong, why something was right, why perhaps they should have made a different decision in the way they've dealt with the partner or someone that they like, for example. And they said that they found that that is one of the easiest vehicles that they found with their older kids because it mirrors real life. So rather than trying desperately to sort of explain what gaslighting is and you don't really know the explanation or understand it, if you watch it on something like Love Island, it makes it so much more real, I guess. And it all comes down to, I guess as parents, we've got to stop feeling awkward about talking to our kids about sex, about the dangers online regarding their own bodies and the bodies of others. And I guess this can also be seen as, you know, especially when it comes to the education system, for example, you know, it tends to lag behind when it comes to talking about the realities of sexual health and also about the dangers online regarding... They talk about the dangers online, but actually the realities of what you can see, but also educating the girls as well as the boys.
So what about you? And I know your children are really small at the moment, but would you talk to them when you think the time's right?
Yeah, no, I'd love to. I mean, I'm very honest with my kids in terms of talking about our bodies, and we don't use we use the actual words for you know, a penis and a vagina, for example. We use the actual words because then it's not making it into something that they should feel ashamed of, you know, and perhaps being honest about it, rather than feeling embarrassed about it. Perhaps, you know, that level of honesty may help later on down the line. I don't know. But, you know, I'd sort of hope for the best, really, you know. Right, if you've been affected by what we've been talking about or are looking for some advice, then of course please do visit itv.com/helplines and you'll find information there. We'll let